Alright, let's get into part 2 of this Stanley plane restoration. So, the first thing that I'd like to start today is start working on the blade of the plane. So, one thing that for me has really come in handy is having this jig here that's at a 30-degree angle. And what I do is that whenever I'm re-grinding a chisel blade or in this case a planer blade, I put this jig on here at this 30-degree angle, and having the bevel facing away from you, you just put it on, registering against this face right here until you're in the right spot to grind a new edge on the blade. And the next thing that I do with the blade is actually mark a perfect 90-degree edge from these edges here across the top. And the reason for this is so that then you have a reference line for when you're grinding. And one last thing that you want to make sure that you do when you're grinding a blade is keep it in a bath of water when you're not grinding. So there, with just a few minutes, I'm able to get this blade pretty uniform. You can see I've just been following the green line with the Sharpie, and I still have a little bit more over on this side. So after no more than 2 minutes flattening the blade, I can already see that this edge right here is totally flat. And one thing that I really love seeing is that nice tool steel right there shining through. If you didn't know this, the steel up here is a much higher quality than the rest of the blade, because up here is where the cutting edge is. And that has to be of a really durable steel that can hold an edge well. So now we can start working on the bevel. So the first couple strokes that you do, you really want to, what they call feeling for the edge. So now, after going with a 220 grit, I'm going to go then to 400, doing the same exact process, and then I will slowly go up into the higher grits, where then I get a near finish on the blade. So, you tell me if this is sharp enough. So if you have never restored a tool before, You don't need any fancy stones or anything. You can just use wet and dry sandpaper that you can get at Home Depot, Lowe's, or any home center. And you can get a phenomenal edge by just taking your time and going up through the grits. Alright, so now that we have that pristine blade sticky sharp, we can now take the sole of the plane out of the tape. The last thing that we have to do is just sand down the handle and put a finish on here. Before we do that, we can also take off the paper that we put down when we were working with all the rusted metal. Alright, it is time to finally assemble this plane. So the first thing that I'd like to do is put on this little backer piece right here that slides and sets the depth of the blade. So this little groove right here corresponds with these right here on the blade. Now we can put on the lever cap. And you can adjust the screw to make it hold the blade down tighter or looser. And these are very sensitive too. There. Last but not least, we can put on the handle. So after those last few shots, I took this whole plane apart again and oiled up most of the moving parts so that they don't wear down. And now, with much anticipation, let's see how it cuts. Alright, the moment of truth. I think that's pretty good. I am very happy with the way this turned out. I spent a little bit of extra time making sure that I got the blade super duper scary sharp, as they call it, and I think it turned out really nice. I like the black color that I did, The sole also turned out nice. There wasn't any really pitting in that. It was just mostly surface rust. The handle I also really liked too. Once I put the boiled linseed oil on, that really brought out the grain, which is nice. So if you're in the market for any sort of old hand tools, I'd really recommend going to antique stores or garage sales, and you can pick items up just like this for just a few bucks, and you can restore it yourself just like I did and get a perfectly working tool that can last you a very long time. So that's going to be it for this one. I do hope to do many other tool restorations with you guys in the future. So if you enjoyed watching this video, I'd like to invite you to subscribe to my channel. I try to upload new videos almost every day. Also put a comment down in the comment section if you think one is necessary, and also hit that like button too. I really do appreciate that. And I will see you in the next video.